At any rate, Rabbi Yeshua, in his statement over here, that an evil eye and the evil inclination and hatred of people remove a man from the world, uses the expression ein hara in the singular, not enayim haraim. People have two eyes. So if you want to talk about an evil eye, you should talk about both of them. Nevertheless, he is particular to talk about one eye. And that's the fundamental problem. When people are given two eyes in order that they should be able to see things in a balanced way. When you look with only one eye, you get a distorted view of the world. You know, in the Aseret Dibrot, in the Ten Commandments, there's a beautiful interpretation of the last commandment, which reads that do not be envious of your neighbor's house, do not be envious of your neighbor's wife, his male or female slave, his ox, his ass, v'chol asher l'reacha, and everything else that is your neighbor's. So the Meforshim ask, what is everything else? He says the problem with this person is that when he looked at his neighbor and he saw his lovely wife or a particular possession, he saw his Ferrari or BMW sitting outside the house, he made a terrible mistake. He looked with only one eye. If he would look with both eyes, he'd see a bigger picture. He'd see the whole picture of his neighbor's life. And when you look at a person in totality, you realize that everybody has a little peckle of problems. Not everything life is not perfect for almost any human being on this earth. And when you only isolate a particular item, you get a distorted picture of that person's good fortune. One needs to be able to look at them in their totality. And that is effectively what Rabbi Yeshua is saying. Don't look at the world just through one eye, ayin hara, because that by definition becomes an evil eye. That becomes an eye that can only see bad. And there is a rather extraordinary piece of Talmud taken from Bava Metzia that says that Rav, the great Rav, had supernormal power when he was in a cemetery to ascertain what each person buried there had died of. And he said that in general, out of 100 bodies, all but one had met death because of an evil eye. What he meant was that people envy and psychological disorder, emotional upsets, all those things which happen inside of us are ways which create psychosomatic disturbances. The way in which the negativity with which you look at the world can actually affect your health and can actually shorten your life. And this is a hugely early insight into the connection between psychosomatic between the inside of a person and their physical health, and therefore being of good disposition, of being happy disposition, of being able to see good in other people, to be able to see a big picture and to be respect everybody. This creates a person, puts them into a good state of emotional state, and that ultimately affects their physical health as well, because the two, of course, as we know today, are very closely connected.